Hello, my loves. Lovelies, lovelies, lovelies. Let me turn off my car. Today is Tuesday, April 19th. This is video number 7 in my series of my own challenge that I'm doing for myself to try to do a video every single day for 30 days. I did miss Easter, but that's okay. I made one right after, so I'm still succeeding at my challenge. And I'm really proud of myself making these changes and putting myself out there to be judged, loved, criticized, accepted, all the good, all the negative. And it's a beautiful day. I swear this weather changes like my emotions so often. Let me show you. It's so beautiful. Look at that. And there's the weeping willow that I absolutely love to hang out. When it's really, really clear, you can see the mountains, so there's clouds in the way, but when on a really, really clear day, you can see all these beautiful mountains, and I just love it here. It's like places. This is where I come to find peace. When I was going through my awakening, I came here and I just found so much peace in watching the sunset every evening. And I would always set the intentions that when the sun would set, it would take away the day. And I was having a lot of hard days back then. And I would let it just take away the day, the energy of the day, and just set the intention that when the sun was rising in the morning, that it would bring with it a new day, a new energy for me to experience something completely different. And it's a beautiful thing. So today, I wanted to kind of give you my own version of an energy update. I think I might even title this video energy update. A lot of crazy things, a lot of shifts going on with the planet. And when I first started to go through this process, I found it somewhat comforting to watch energy updates on YouTube. So I would just simply do a search of energy updates on YouTube, and I would get all these different perspectives of what was happening and the energy and reading it. And I began to be somewhat reliant on it until I could start to feel the energy for myself and make sense and translate it for myself. And I learned a lot of things about energy over the last, I want to say, 4 years. I've learned a lot. And it's always changing. The earth is under a big, huge shift and transformation, and has been even before I got started. There's this big, huge, grand plan that's happening, and it's beautiful to watch it play out. And it's actually this really divine plan that's happening, and it's pretty amazing. And so I was sitting at home a little while ago, and I had these really intense emotions come over me. I have this amazing life. I mean, just absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful life. My children are all in amazing places. I have the most amazing partner that I couldn't have ever imagined. I never even thought this type of love existed. So things in my life are going really, really well. But this intense emotion came over me, and I just wanted to cry. I just wanted to bawl and cry. And sometimes I allow myself to go and cry. And that's okay. So I let myself cry for a little bit, but then I asked Spirit, I said, where is the source of these intense emotions coming from? And usually when we feel these intense emotions and nobody's doing anything to you, you're just upset or sad or angry for no reason. That is when, at that point, we need to recognize that it's coming just from us, because we start off, when we feel this way, we want to point it, this person to be the reason why I'm feeling this way, or this person's the reason why. And I could come up in that moment of this sadness that I was feeling, of people I could pin it on easily. You know, nobody's perfect. But I had to have the self-realization that I'm in control of my emotions, and it's okay to be sad, but let's look at where this sadness is coming from. And sometimes it's okay just to sit with the sadness, and no, you don't have to figure it out. Just honor that that's how you feel. And usually when you give yourself grace and love in the moment, it will pass. And so eventually it'll pass, right? So I started asking, how can I explain these energy? I call them like when the energy comes in, because it's nonstop. It's not particularly for one person or for another person. Everything is like almost like everything works together, right? So everything just fits together beautifully and works together beautifully, although it doesn't seem beautiful sometimes when we're going through the thick of it. But the way that I have come to understand the energy that comes over the planet and the energy that runs through our body and these different, you ever wonder why you're having like this for no reason, like today, it seems like it's coming out of nowhere, and just the sadness or these emotions that feel like they're unprovoked, but they're just coming from somewhere, right? And then you have somebody who's just going through their absolute best day. Like they're having literally woke up happy, go to bed happy, like they're just having the best time of their life today. And so I particularly wanted to ask Spirit. Now, when I say I ask questions. It's always to Spirit. It's always to my spirit. And connecting with my higher self to get some of the answers I can't really quite put together here with my human mind. So I have to open up and I have to say, ask the questions and the energy or the information that I want to know, but you have to be open for the answer. You can't try to manipulate the answer coming in or try to figure it out. You have to be completely open and put the ego down, put the ego to sleep so that you can receive this information. And the way that I have seen it over the last several years since I've been being aware of the energy and how it fluctuates from year to year, what I've noticed is there's certain months that are more difficult for me. There's certain days of the month that are more difficult for me and are more challenging. And so those days could be opposite for somebody else. They could be beautiful, amazing days, and then somebody else's really negative days are when things aren't going their way and they're very sad or going through emotions or going through something difficult. I could be having the best day ever. And so the reason this happens is because we're undoing. We're not just undoing our trauma, karma, things that have happened to us over our lifetimes, not just this lifetime, but over lifetimes, bloodline karmic. So we're working at it from different angles. And so this energy that comes over the planet is being filtered by a false grid system. So the way that you can think about this grid system, right? So we have a natural grid system that's over the earth that holds this energetic frequency into place so that we can all play here, because this is a learning school playground for us to come and experience these emotions and different aspects of these emotions and to evolve our spirit. Well, when we are experiencing these negative, what we are perceived, because nothing's really good or bad. It's just our perception of it, right? So when we are feeling these frequencies that make us not feel our best, our energy is being snagged by these frequencies that are coming in from all over the earth, right? From the sun sets out these waves and these codes and this energy, and it's happening all over. Well, a false grid system, when I speak of a false grid system, I'm speaking of something that has been created with technology and created by another being, right? Another consciousness. It's not something that happens naturally. And so if you can think of it like synthetic lavender oil, right? So you get the lavender plant, and you raise it, and then you express the oil, and you use it for all types of therapeutic homeopathic uses, right? Well, somebody can go and take the properties of the lavender oil and break it down and to create a synthetic lavender oil. It smells like lavender. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference, right? It's kind of like the grid system that has been created. There is a natural grid system, and then there is a false grid system. And so with this grid system over the earth, we've got several things happening at once. This false grid system is being broken down so that the natural grid system can take over. And so what we're doing as humanity, in humanity right now, is breaking down this false grid system. So we have other light workers who consider themselves grid workers, and so that's all they do, is they're constantly ripping up these grid systems, these false grid systems, and exposing the natural grid systems, the ley lines of the natural grid systems. So when we have a certain energy that comes into place that snags our energy, right? So you've got the energy coming over us, and it's spitting out all of these codes, these frequencies, and it's to shift something inside of us that we need shifted, right? So let's say if I have a pattern that needs to be shifted, more than this person has, this person's already shifted this pattern. Well, that energy is going to come in and be supportive to me. And we say supportive to me, meaning that it could look really ugly. It's stirring up things in my life, but it's also snagging the things that's in my energy for them just to be ripped out, to be replaced with something that's more for our highest good, our highest purpose in life, right? So we're always trying to rework these programs that we were born with, or that are just a part of us. These are patterns that have been taught from generations to generations, and born with it. And these are lessons that we came here to learn. And it's almost like an undoing of something that's been done. It's what's happening. And so this energy that's coming in, and I would say that the natural grid system is broken down into, I believe, 13, and that's the way I see it, is the 13 groups. And in those 13 groups, those 13 groups are broken down into 4 groups, right? And when I see these groups and these frequencies, they're big, large numbers, frequencies. So these numbers can be translated into colors, into sound. It could be translated into all these different kind of things. Frequencies can be broken down to color, sound, all those wonderful, beautiful things, symbols. And they communicate with us by how we receive energy, how we receive and translate energy. So it's a beautiful thing that's happening, and we all can't experience this at one time. You can't just have these different portals are being opened for this energy to come down to support us. And it supports us in helping us release the things that we need to release, because if we didn't have this energy helping, we would all be kind of just not really moving in life. We would just be comfortable, and we have to be stirred up a little bit to start making these changes in life. And when this energy comes in and it snags something in your energy that needs to be pulled out and rewired and redirected, that's what's happening. And so that's why one person will be experiencing really negative stuff in their life, perceived to be negative, and then one person can be having the best day ever, and then next week it'll flip. The one person who had the worst week last week will have their best week this week, and then the one that was having their best week will now have their worst week. We do this as a collective to help each other out, so not one group of people bears the weight of the change, because where we're trying to go in frequency is a really huge jump and leap, but the Earth's anchored frequency can only raise as our frequency raises individually. And so we're all connected. We're all intertwined and interwoven and connected to one another. And we're all here to support and help each other, even the negative experiences that we come across. So some of the energy that's coming in is happening at higher rates and higher rates. So every year, every month, it gets turned up just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. So It's kind of like a faucet, and you got water dripping down, and you turn it to where it's just a slow drip, and then you turn it on wide, and then there's more water coming out. It's the same thing with energy. And so this fault grid system is serving its purpose too, because it can't be taken out at one time. What's been done has been done to us over years and years and years and decades and hundreds of thousands of years. So it can't just be ripped off from us from one time. So it has to have a place, and it has to be ripped and dismantled little by little by little by little. And so as a collective, we're all growing together. And when I say the Earth's anchored frequency, each of our individual bodies has an anchored frequency, right? It's the frequency that our overall being resonates at. And we can have a part in our body that's sick and another part of our body that's really healthy. And so my kidneys can be unhealthy and vibrate at a different frequency than my heart, which is a healthier frequency. And so it'll put off a different frequency. And so we have our combined frequency, and that's where we're anchored at. And so each person in each group is having to go through these changes to raise their frequency little by little by little. And we're all here helping each other. And so if you're having your best week, you're anchoring frequencies for the other person to have their really, really awful week, to uproot the things that no longer serve them and develop new healthy patterns that serve them more, for a freer flowing life, right? So it really is a beautiful thing. And even though I had a bad moment this morning, and I hope you guys can understand the way that I mentioned it, I can go into a lot more details, but I try to keep it just pretty, I don't know, simple. I guess I try to make it as simple as I possibly can, because sometimes I see things out here really far out there, and so I look for a way to translate. Like, I'm translating spirit into words to communicate to you. I'm having to translate spirit and then filter it through me and how I perceive the world and relay it to you. And we each translate spirit much differently. It looks different to other people, but ultimately I do believe it's the same. We all just see a little different, right? So it's kind of like you've got the one high ultimate truth, right? And this truth is here, but this truth is so big that some people only see small parts of this truth. And so we could be looking at the same truth, but just seeing it different. And the way that I can explain consciousness is when you are expanding your consciousness and you can reach higher frequencies of information. And our mind is like a radio tuner where we actually find the information. So if I'm asking a question, the reason I'm getting answers is because I know where to reach the frequencies for the answers. And so our mind is like a radio tuner, so we tune into these frequencies. And so the way I can explain this is, if you're in the biggest city in the world, with the tallest building in the world, and you're standing at the front door of the building and you're touching it with your nose on the very, very first floor, and you turn around and you look all around you, what do you see? You can only see what your eyes can see in that moment. You can't see over there because of the building here. You can't see over there because of the car that's there. You can't see the next street over because of all the buildings. So you have no idea what's actually really going on in the city. You only see what's at the base of that one building that you're seeing. But if you go into the front door of that building and you get into the elevator and you go up and up and up and up and up to the elevator, the more higher you get into the elevator, the more of the city you can see, the more perspective you get of the actual city and what's really going on. And so that's the way that I look at consciousness. Some people are at the level of consciousness where they only see what's going on directly in front of them. They can't really perceive what's going on in the next street over, in the next alley, or the next building. They can't see all of those things from where they stand. But if they get on the elevator and go up, then they can start getting a bigger picture of the whole city. So that's how I've come to understand it. If you guys understand it differently, please share that with me, because I love to hear because I believe we're all getting the same information. We're just translating it differently based on our experiences in life. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And we share the way we see things. It may click in place for somebody else, because somebody else may be trying to figure out the same things I'm trying to figure out. And I just give them a little piece that resonates with them. And then that opens up a whole new area in their life to experience something completely different. And so we're here to help each other out. We're here to help each other grow. And I say this again, and I say it often. My mission here on earth, here with you guys, is to help you connect back to yourself. To not rely on anybody else but yourself. Anything that we ever experience in life, anything we ever want to know in life, it's already inside of us. The heaven and hells in life are inside of us, right? And if you really think about it, it's really beautiful the way everything works together and moves together and flows together. And we just have to take turns going through the hard parts, right? We're never alone. And that's how we can find our soul family, is by reaching out and connecting online and connecting with different platforms, and finding somebody that's experiencing the same thing that you're experiencing. If you are finding somebody that's experiencing the same thing that you're experiencing, chances are you have a close frequency together. And so this energy comes out, helps support us in our family and soul family and just everything in life. And so I send you love in the tough moments, because I know they're challenging. I'm sending you so much love and so much grace, and yeah, just lots of love. I hope I've explained that well from the way I see it, because there's really no book. And even if I could write a book, I could put what I'm seeing it and how I'm translating it and write a book. This really is a not one size fits all kind of thing. We have to communicate with one another and share our knowledge in different pieces, but we also have to take just what resonates with us. If it doesn't make any sense to you, come back to it later. Toss it aside for now. Always go with your heart and what you feel is right and true in your heart, okay? And I send you guys so much love, and I hope that makes sense, okay? I'm going to enjoy this beautiful day.